Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back. So it's time for August's mid-month mini mission inspiration art tag. So I've got my prompt for the month. I've made myself a cup of coffee. So let's get started. Okay, so the prompt for August is, as you can see, hang in there. So I've stuck my prompt onto the back of my art tag already, and I've already got out some colours that I want to use. I'm going to do some inking on a background on the tag for this project this month. So I've got my Distress Ink Black Soot. I've got Wilted Violet. Now originally I got out Dusty Concord, but Wilted Violet was a bit more vibrant in the purple. Dusty Concord's a bit greyer. And then of course Carved Pumpkin. Almost went with Wild Honey, but Carved Pumpkin won out in the end. So my project, obviously with that title of Hang In There, and as yesterday we found the biggest spider I've ever seen in my entire life in the garage yesterday, I thought that would be perfect. So what I've done is I've laser cut a spider web just from 2mm medite from wood along with a spider. And that's pretty much what we're going to do on the tag. And I've cut it to fit into the tag. And then the spider's going to be hanging in there. But I'm going to do a background. Obviously these will be painted. So first of all, I'm going to start off with the lightest going up to darkest. So I'm going to start off with the Carved Pumpkin. I've got some new ink blending foams here. So these are the domed ones. So I'm just going to load up and ink up. I'm not using oxides, I'm using proper Distress inks. I haven't used these for absolutely ages and ages and ages. And I'm going to get quite a bit on the foam. And I'm going straight in because I'm using mixed media cardstock, which is really good for holding on to ink and colour. So we'll go orange into that bottom part, and you can see where you need to go just to add a bit more if necessary. And we'll try and load in as much as we can. Okay, so that's going to be the pumpkin. I'm now going to bring in the Wilted Violet. Should I give that a wipe down first? Nah, it doesn't really make any difference. So load up, and then I'm going to start on this side. That's not even on straight. That's better. Okay, I'm going to start just on this side here, then come in onto the page that way, and then start working my way down. Now that I've got the ink on, I can come across. Haven't used these inks in absolutely ages and ages and ages. I've used the browns, but I haven't actually used the Distress inks per se for quite some time. Which is a shame really, because I spent all that money buying every single colour and I hardly ever use them. Okay, so before we move on, I was expecting to get a line across that then. Before we move on, I just want to bring some of that orange back in and then just blend further up just into that transition section. There we go. So now we've got those two done, I can come in with the black soot. And then just from the top, I am going to get ink on my fingers, but you know, it is what it is. And while we've still got that there, I'll come back in with that wilted violet and bring that further up into the black. Just so we've got a kind of nice, almost twilight, almost dusk ombre sky going on there. I'm happy with that. Right, I'll have a quick tidy up, a quick wipe up, mouthful of coffee, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so quick tidy up. I've got rid of everything apart from the essentials, which is my coffee and some water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that kind of ghosting flicking effect into the background, but I'm going to use the spritzer bottle. So we're just going to flick some water just to kind of get a little bit of a, like I said, a little bit of a ghosty effect in the background. So by ghosting, I mean when you flick water onto a water reactive ink, if you don't know already, maybe teaching Granny to suck eggs again, but leave it to sit for a minute, it will reactivate the ink and it will make the ink that's been put onto the paper or the card rise to the surface of the water, so that when you come in with a piece of kitchen roll or paper towel, you dab it off, it's going to create little white areas, look, because the ink has lifted from that background, and you get this lovely kind of almost abstracty starry sky kind of look. And then all you have to do is just put it to one side and leave it to dry for a minute or two. While the background is drying, I'm going to come in with my spider's web and my little spider. The one that we saw in the garage was about that size in reality yesterday, if not bigger. Oh, we did leave him alone, we didn't touch him, we didn't go anywhere near him. Okay, so grab some white gesso. And this probably will need a couple of coats because the darkness from the soot from the laser cutting will probably darken the gesso, but that's okay. I could, if I'd wanted to, gone to that mess of putting embossing powder onto the spider's web, but I've done quite a bit with embossing powder recently, so I thought I'd do something a bit different for a change. But yeah, you could, if you wanted to, just dab your Versamite pad over the spider's web and then just coat it with white embossing powder. Or I could have done that. That's another technique, another way of doing it. As well as painting. So that's kind of covered quite nicely. And that first flush. So I'll let that dry off, and then I'll give it, I don't mind if any of it comes up from underneath, I'll give it a quick blast with the heat gun, and then maybe give it a second coat, and then I'll be back. I'm also going to give the spider a coat in black gesso. So I'll have that done by the time you get back. Okay, I'm going to succumb and give in to temptation. Sorry. Right, I've got a Versamark pad here. This is very, very, very old. So all I'm going to do is just tap over the top. But I'm not going to do it in white. I'm going to do it in clear, and I'm going to do the same thing with the spider. I have some ultra fine clear embossing powder. So that's what we're going to do. Cover it with clear, make it shiny, or a bit shiny anyway. Right, so we'll just tap that off. Just do it gently, put it to one side, and then the spider. Put it to one side, and then we'll just tip the rest of that glaze. I say glaze, it's clear. Back in there. Okay. I'm going to heat it on the paper. So that's it. I'm just going to do the one coat. I'm not going to go mad. So I'll just let that cool down for a minute. I'll have a tidy up and then I'll be back. Okay, so they're now dry and shiny. I don't know whether the camera's picking that up. Probably more so, there you go, on the spider. Like it. Right, so what I want to do before I stick my web and spider onto the tag is, when I've laid my spider's web down onto the actual tag itself, top part looks okay, but down here just looks a little bit bare when you stick the spider on. There's not a lot really in the background, so what I want to do is just add a little bit of texture. Just by adding some small black splatters, just with a small brush, and I've got just a little bit of black gesso. Now I did have another spritzer bottle, so there it is, look, it's just lying on its side. That's it, just get a little pool of black going on. And then I'm just going to don't want any white, but just a little bit of black, and that will do. Not too much, just a few sprinkles is more than adequato. More than adequato. Right, it's a bit of a tidy up, because you just know I'm going to get my elbow in this. Because it happens so often. Okay, I've been trying so diligently to keep my green mat clean and free from mess and marks. But no matter how you try, it always happens. You're on a hide into nothing really. Okay, so by the time we've got all this lot sorted out, all this lot dried, we'll be ready. Or I should say cleaned up. I'll be right back. Okay, time to assemble. Right, so first of all, like I said, I cut this specifically to fit the tag so that it would stay within the confines of the shape of the tag. So I just have to find that balance there. I think that's about right. Just where that fits there. So I've got some spirit glue in one of those fine point applicator bottles. I'm hoping the nozzle's clear, because sometimes even though you try to keep them clear, they don't stay clear. Like this one hasn't. So I'll have to get a needle. I should have checked it before starting the camera, shouldn't I? Right, I'll be right back. Right, I've sort of got it cleared. Alright, so all I'm going to do is just to add a little bit in the middle, and this stuff will dry completely clear anyway, so even if you get a little bit on your project, it won't make that difference, but it is spirit based, so it shouldn't, theoretically, reactivate the ink, because it's alcohol based as opposed to water based. Actually, these little strings that it's creating is just kind of adding to it, I think. That will do. So up to the top there, down to the side there, and then just drop it down. I don't know whether you can see, whether the camera's picking it up actually. When I touched the tag earlier, the moisture from my finger was enough to lift the ink. So there's actually a fingerprint mark just there. That's how reactive those distress inks are. Right, and now Mr. Spidery. So luckily we don't really need to stick all his legs down. Body should be enough. The body's stuck, the rest of it's going to be stuck. It won't be going anywhere. Okay, that should do, I think. Flip that over and then bring him right down here. Now that I've added those splatters of black in the background, it adds a little bit more visual interest. There we go. So I'm going to need to leave that to set just for a few minutes, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so they're now stuck down. So I've brought in this Flymax paint marker, which has been one of the best white paint markers I've had for quite some time. This was a gift from Ian for Christmas. He got me a pack of about half a dozen. I think there was 5 or 6 in the pack. So all I'm going to do is just extend those ones off to the top, but I also want to extend this one just down to my little spider's bottom there, just because. And then I'm going to just put a little kind of cross, just like the Black Widow. I know it's supposed to be in red, but never mind. And then I'm just going to give him a couple of creepy little eyes. Maybe just wiggle off that way. We'll just give that a minute or two to dry and then I'll be right back. Okay, so there we have it. Our spider hanging in there on its spider's web. So not really Halloweeny, not really autumnal, more kind of, you know, back end of summery because, you know, it's spider season now. They've started to come out, as the big one that we found in the garage testifies to yesterday. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create my art tag for August. If you have, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. You can share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. And don't forget, that's the Mission Inspiration Facebook that we share all our Mission Inspiration projects in. So if you haven't joined already, you can just pop across there. There's a clickable link in the description as well. You can pop across there and ask to join, and then join in with all the art challenges each month. So that's all from me. I'll see you all again real soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.